Alright. What kind of power is associated with the male and female characters in the text? Why?
Okay, so I think Morgane has like the most power because she can see visions. But I think it's a bad thing because everyone like takes advantage of her because at the beginning she's really young too, so she doesn't really like understand that they're like using her.
I think they also had a lot of power when they were raising children because like when Morgane wanted to raise Mordred, she did it because she wanted to affect how he looked at life. So by raising a child, that gave you a lot of power in swaying their opinions.
I think Vivian has a lot of power because she make up the Morgane and Arthur minds to have the kids, to take the kids away from them, and I think she had a power over them to take them away from her.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And then she also just seems to like control everyone. Like at the end of the movie when Mordred sees her in the forest or whatever, she tells him that he's Morgane and Arthur's son, and like that makes him kind of go crazy, I feel like, once he finds that out.
Alright. Which characters seem to be punished? Which characters seem to be punished more than others? Why? Which characters suffer more than others?
Well, I think Guinevere, when she gets married with Arthur, she suffered because I think it was Morgane, yeah, put a curse on her, so she can no longer have kids, and she tries a couple of times, and she tries with the Lancelot too. She still doesn't have kids, and she was really punished by that. And then at the end, Arthur set up something, set up like their meeting, Lancelot and Guinevere. So Guinevere got caught and then went to the convent.
Yeah.
So she suffered a lot.
Yeah, and then she also had to find out that Mordred had a baby with Mordred was the baby of Arthur, and then Morgane, so that was like another kind of like blow to the face for her.
I think Morgane suffered the most. She had to lose her brother when she was at a young age. They got separated. She found out she slept with her brother. Everyone she loved basically dies, and she had to give, like, her aunt basically took her son and said, go to Camelot. So her whole life was just sad.
Everybody died of her.
Yeah, everybody died in her arms.
First was Vivian, and then she died in her arms. Then it was Arthur,
Yeah.
and then what else? It was someone else.
Yeah.
I think that was it. Yeah.
Are there any characters who do not conform to normal behavior for their gender? How are these characters affected by this behavior? Do other characters and the author perceive them? How do you know?
Can I see the question? Igraine doesn't really like conform to the normal. She like when she's talking to the priest, she like speaks her mind. Like she doesn't really wait for everyone to like she doesn't wait for the men to stop or to talk to her. She just speaks what she wants to. And she says that people do not believe in the power of Avalon because the bishop tells them not to. Then the priest is like, oh, like I like you speak your mind. So
Yeah, like when she was at the dinner table and she made the comments. Yeah, I think she proved her point. I also think Vivian had a lot of control. Like, she was able to get people to move places and say, like, you need to be here and you need to do this, and no one really stopped her, which I thought was kind of interesting because during that time it seemed like women weren't allowed to have a lot of control, but she somehow got around that.
And then the aunt too, when she tried to kill Morgane's baby, like, was that her husband at the time? I don't know, whoever she was with.
Yeah,
Like,
that was her husband.
he just listened to her. She's like, I'm gonna kill the baby, and then when she leaves, he's like, why is the baby still alive? And like, he didn't question really her that much. He's just like, okay, you made a decision.
Well, he knew their son would become the heir to the throne. If that baby died, then their son would have become heir.
Well, yeah, I know, but after she didn't kill
Yeah.
him, then he
Okay.
didn't seem to care.
Do the characters seem to pay a price for their gender or enjoy rewards? What rewards or advantages do the female characters enjoy for being women? Well, I think it's nice to be a woman because the men want to keep you safe. Even if it's only for the fact that you can bear their children, they keep you safe.
I agree with that.
You don't need to get a war.
I think it was a disadvantage though to be a woman because mainly they wanted like sons, not women, so I think that was a struggle for them.
Yeah, they were disappointed in you.
Yeah.
If you couldn't produce a son, it was like you were broken.
How is this movie different from the other King Arthur movies?
It was seen through a woman's eyes, which gave it a different take. I think it tried to show you the power women tried to have, and also it was a lot less gory and more following specific storylines, I think. You learn more about the characters and how they ended up where they are.
Like, because it was so long, I feel like
It
I feel
was.
like you actually like went through their whole life with them. So it felt like more like, I don't know, a story than rather than a movie. Like it was easy to follow too.
Yeah.
Because men are normally like decision makers and they hold like power, so it's nice to see that, you know, there's a woman in control for once, other than men.
And then that one part where Morgaine like agreed to marry the King of Wales or whatever. I like how she agreed. I feel like normally they would just be betrothed and she'd have to leave, like she'd be forced to leave, but she was the one who made the decision.
Even when she found out it wasn't the son.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
But
she was like, I'll
still.
stay. I thought that was kind of cool for her to do. And that was the only happy time in her life. It was when she was with him. Everything else was a mess.
All right, I'll do something unconventional. All right, let's take questions from the outside. Anybody have any questions that they can answer? Ryan, go for it. Ask them a question. Yeah, help them out.
What were your thoughts on the movie? Wait, you already asked. Alright. I don't have a question.
Okay, Kelly. Take it.
I'm assuming you guys like have the text in front of you. I can't see it
Yeah.
there. But with the text that we read, it was like Morgaine was talking about how she didn't really like her brother a lot. She felt like he took attention away from like her mom and stuff. But in the movie, like I don't know if you guys got this, but in the movie it kind of seemed like that wasn't really the case. Like, you know, what do y'all think about like
In the text, it like she starts off not liking the brother, and then eventually I don't remember what happened, but she was, I think the brother got hurt, and then she's like, I have to take care of him, like this is, and then that's when she started liking him. But they don't ever show you the part where she doesn't like him in the movie. Like they make it seem like she starts liking him right away.
Even when she finds out that, and when Arthur and her finds out that there's love together, they still kind of like each other somehow, like it wasn't nothing.
Yeah, it was like kind of awkward at first,
Yeah.
but that was it. They were
That
like,
was
okay.
it, and then they're like, I miss you,
Yeah, from the text, I would have thought it wouldn't have been so hard to leave him, but watching the movie, it was just sad when they got separated. Come
Agreeing with you.
on. No, go on.
Right. Yes.
So, since you guys had the feminist lens, I was wondering in the movie, how did the women display power towards their husbands, if they ever did?
I think most of the time they like didn't really argue with their husbands.
They didn't really have the chance to display
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
power in front of their husbands. It was in front of other women, almost, where it seemed they got to.
They just kind of like assumed that their husbands had power. I don't think they really knew that they could like stand up for themselves.
I think it maybe was feminist, not because they would like stand up to the husband, but the husband never seemed to be like, they never seemed to get in arguments or anything. Like they both were mutually like, they would get along with each other well, and they made it seem like that was feminist because women aren't crazy, they don't like go crazy.
All right, give them a hand. Very nice. Very nice. All right, what's the favorite comment you heard?
I think like raising a child, when like Morgane gets more power and control to everyone, I think that's like really like a big thing. It's like raising a child is a lot.
Right.
I like it when they talk about like how Ygritte speaks her mind. Like she's like sitting right next to the king and she's like saying whatever she wants to. It's like showing she's not afraid of the man just because she's a woman. I like that.
Very good.
I like how it's just like in a woman's point of view. It's like something different, and it gives you a different perspective on like the story that we've all like grown up hearing. Really.
Very good.
I liked how whenever they were asked about like which characters to talk about, they always talked about the women. I like that like this movie and this text, like Ali said, it challenged the idea of just thinking about the men and like thinking about the women too.
Very good.
Since they were the feminists, they were saying that Vivian had a lot of power, and it's like, I guess, cool how she dictated Arthur and Morgane's lives, because like without her, like I guess Arthur wouldn't have died because they wouldn't have had sex, and Arthur's son wouldn't have killed him. So I mean, Vivian had a lot of power dictating the rest of Arthur's life.
Very good.
What I didn't like about the movie is that they took advantage of Morgane because she had the vision power. So I didn't know if because she was a woman or.
Very good.
I thought it was interesting how they stated how the women had a lot of power, but they didn't display it towards men. They displayed it towards other women more.
Very good.
I like it when Morgane suffered the most because she was separated from her brother at a young age, and later she slept with her brother.
Very good.
I liked it when they were talking about how this movie had less gore compared to other movies, and because there were women, like men tried to use force, but women tried to have more control in the situation.
Very good.
I like how they pointed out that it's like nice to be a woman because the man will always keep you safe no matter what.
Very good.
Right. When they said mothers have a lot of power bringing up a child because they're mostly there, and that like leads to their future and how they act and their personality.
Very good.
Well, I kind of, it was interesting to me to see how in the movie, even in that, like in those times and in modern days, a lot of times you'll have people say that they want a son, but at the same time there's a lot of people that say they want a healthy child, which is like the right thing to say.
Very good.
I liked when Lily said that Vivian had a lot of control, even though during this time women seemed to not have much control, but she somehow got around it.
Very good.
How the men got mad at the woman if they didn't have a son, because the men kind of want to like pass down the name, the family name, through their sons.
It was interesting that even the movie was pretty feministic, still in the movie, the women had a huge disadvantage, and they wanted the male child, even though the woman had some kind of control over the male in the movie.
Very good.
I like comment woman has advantage because men keep protecting for woman, and because it shows and gave up many things for women.
Very good.